would usually explain the weird vegetation you get
Yes.
in those coastal areas. As we go into the Americas again, we do have the stubby antenna with black car.
Should be Colombia with that.
But the rest,
Most
I didn't really think of
likely,
Colombia
it did
here.
not look like it, no. Well, if it's looking like this, it could be east or north. Maybe. Doesn't really look north because it doesn't look dry. It looks pretty green.
I was about to say it looks pretty dry, but maybe that's just me. I mean, the side
The
of the
soil
road,
looks dry, but I don't know. The vegetation looks very green.
it could just be wet season, you know.
Yeah, could be.
But we do have an east guess, as you mentioned. I didn't really vibe east at all here. I just thought maybe in the middle somewhere random or in the north, so...
Yeah, I think the east makes sense with the terrain. It is southeast of Yopal, east of the Andes, where you get this type of terrain. But I agree, it didn't really look like it otherwise. But yeah, you trust that. I think that was gettable, and we go back to Kazakhstan. This time, I do not know the road.
Wait, you don't know every road?
I do not know every single road in Kazakhstan.
It seems
I
like
have
Fennep
to
knows.
apologize for that one.
That's a very risky guess, you know. That did
Like
seem like
it.
more north
This
to me.
road, doesn't this road have a smudge on top of the car?
We have
I
two
cannot
completely
see
different
it.
guesses here. We have one Karaganda hover by Trichter, and we have one near Oktober, road to Uralsk. So we could see the game. I feel like we will see the game. I don't know.
Could be definitely with 3x, and if one of them is right on it, that could definitely be game. But it doesn't seem like Trish is scanning on a road. He's trying to make a region guess.
Yeah, I think he's not
More
very
than
sure.
that, he's considering a lot of regions in Kazakhstan, whereas Fennep looks way more confident, zooming in a road immediately, and he is indeed in the right region. The confidence didn't lie. And it is game. That's the match win for Fennep here, securing the win against Trichter in a 2-0 fashion. Another one of those games where the 2-0 looks dominant, but
Yeah.
they both played really, really well.
Yeah, especially in this last game, I feel like it all came down to just knowing every road in Kazakhstan. And yet again, not every player really likes to commit to these countries, which are... It's not fun to learn, it's just, you know, it's a known evil to just know countries that are big and have not a lot of coverage, like Kazakhstan, like Mongolia. I feel like pros are just expected to know every single road, and if they don't, the other opponent will definitely know. It's unlikely that both are wrong in something like Kazakhstan. So yeah, but other than that, the no-move game was pretty even, I would say. As we see another game going down, Malfunction losing again 2-0 against Saju. So not the best day for her today,
Nope.
but she has a third game today, but it is against Finbar. So not the easiest of opponents.
Sounds scary. That's not the last opponent I want to face after I've been down 2 times. So let's see how that will turn out. And we do see Finbar playing next up already as well against Captain Ireland versus Sweden.
Yeah, and we saw in the standings, you see them side by side, Finbar and Captain, 37, 36 points. So, you know, definitely going to be a bit of a duel against each other, because you want to get as far away as possible from the 12th spot, because even though the World League influences how you qualify for the World Cup, the majors also award points per region. So you definitely want to have a safe distance, you know, maybe that 7th place is a very safe spot to be in before the majors, but everyone definitely wants to get as many points as possible.
I do agree.
Speaking of, the major locations have been released, and what a lineup we have. GeoGuessr is going global, so if you are not from Europe, you don't have to travel to Sweden again just to see GeoGuessr. You can go to Tokyo, which I think is a pretty sick location, located in the Tokyo Tower. Not sure how GeoGuessr pulled that off, but they did. Definitely looking forward to seeing that location. Then you also have Dallas on the DreamHack, which is going to be a bit of a longer event. You can see 23rd to 25th of May. And then you have Jönköping or John Shopping. It's not said
You
here.
don't have the translation next this time.
No translation, but
we have learned it.
So, yeah, I'm looking very much forward to that. And then, obviously, the final of it all, the GeoGuessr World Cup 2025, the first World Cup outside of Sweden, really. This time, staying in Scandinavia, if you count Denmark or Scandinavia, going to Copenhagen in the KB Hall on August 29th to 30th. You can get your tickets right now, as you can see. And even if you subscribe on Twitch, the money goes straight to the prize pool of the GeoGuessr World Cup. And also, if you sub, you have a chance of winning a GeoGuessr goodie bag. And I also think the winner of the last week was MJ Shorty 14 or something like that.
19.
19, sorry. MJ Shorty 19. So yeah, you will definitely
check your DMs.
Check your DMs, and as you see, you will get the DM on Twitch, so don't get scammed. Yeah, congrats to him, and subscribe if you want to be in this pool of the raffle and want to support the World Cup winner. It will go into the pool. And yeah, let's talk about the next game, Ziggy, shall we? Yeah, I think we could talk about the game, but I think we have a lot of time left for the game. You know, Finbar Captain, it's going to be a very hype matchup, but before that, we're going to take, you know, a bit of a longer break to prepare for this awesome matchup. Pretty much the clash of the top of the table that the players are playing right now. So yeah, get yourself something to drink and prepare for an awesome matchup. Finbar with his captain after a short break. See you then.
Dear fans of GeoGuessr, it's time for us to explore the world. Come and support your favorite players as they fight it out in the virtual boxing ring. The prize? A ticket to the World Cup. This year's major locations are Japan, inside the iconic Tokyo Tower. United States at DreamHack Dallas, one of the largest gaming festivals in the world. And finally, Sweden at the newest gaming festival, Glitched, in Jönköping. Go to geoguessr.com/World Cup for more information. We will see you there.
I got a chance to see Blinky lift the trophy after that insane grand final. With 2025 right around the corner, I have an idea.
GeoGuessr 2025 World Cup? Denmark? Let me show you what Copenhagen has to offer. We have historic buildings, world-class dining. We got the best beer in the world. Presumably. I welcome you to Copenhagen and the KB Hall, the venue of the 2025 GeoGuessr World Cup Finals.
And we are back from this break. Awesome matchups today, but maybe the most awesome matchup today is coming up right now. Finbar playing against Captain, pretty much 9th against 10th place. Georgios, what can we expect from these two people?
Yeah, I mean, Finbar is a known name, a known face, a known player. He played in the last World Cup as well. Very, very great, very, very strong player. And on the other side, we have Captain, who is pretty new to the scene. He only really, appeared in the EMEA last year. Was it EMEA? No, he played in the qualifiers. And I mean, Captain, we also saw him playing at the DreamHack, of course. But I think he impressed a lot of people because it's, as I said, new name, you don't have any expectations, but look at this. 77% win rate on 61% precision. Those stats are insane, and those stats don't lie.
Yeah, I mean, similar stats, but they seem to be just a bit higher on Captain's end on pretty much every single account here. But don't be fooled by that. I feel like the difference will be very marginal. I think we're in for a treat of a game. I would definitely hope that we get to see one of the closest games so far, because I feel like we had a lot of 2-0s today, but this can go either way pretty much, and I just hope we get an awesome match.
Yes, indeed. I mean, they are both top 10 players, and we have been saying a lot, this leaderboard can trick you sometimes by the amount of matches played, or they got unlucky and all that, but no, these are two players who definitely belong in the top 10. And are there indeed, and are facing each other right now as we start in this moving game in Australia. Yeah. We are driving on the left. We have those Australian bollards on the side of the road, which makes identifying Australia pretty easy. And now we have this guardrail ending, the yellow ending with the black stripe crossing it, which is New South Wales almost specific.
Pretty much, yeah.
We have them both in New South Wales. Getting a region guess down, didn't really have the information they wanted. Finbar getting a little bit closer there. Not really crucial damage though. And we go over to round 2. So we are in Europe. This time we have what looks like, I wanted to say Austria. We have an antenna, which we can see, and yeah, it is. We have German language, which we have also seen in the Twitch chat, so you should recognize the German language by now.
True. A lot of German people in the chat from Sp4ghet and of course Lenly. I mean, Lenly right now kind of popping off on YouTube, has to be said. Definitely check him out if you are German. But I guess that's where most people are coming from anyway, so
definitely.
Don't really need to promote him, but still shout out, long-standing member of the community. As we go into Sweden with a lot of signs, and Captain being from Sweden, instantly knowing where Strömsund is.
Yes, this time we have a Swedish player on the board on the Sweden round. But Finbar knows how the road number ordering works in this country, which does help. And he gets very close as well. Captain did put that pressure on, but he got there in the end, reducing the damage to only 30.
Yeah, I feel like both these players are very able in the moving mode, so I definitely could see this going all the way pretty much and being decided on the health left after 10 rounds. But there can always be like a pretty hard round later on, which just decides the game on the spot, so you definitely have to stay consistent. As we have a Yella, which is, as we all know, Latvian for street.
Yes, should be Latvia. Also, this E letter with the stripe on it. So we have language, the architecture looked Baltic. The bus stop also looked kind of Baltic. So yeah, we should be in Latvia. It looks pretty urban for Baltic standards. Usually you're only on the dirt path somewhere in the middle of nowhere in the Baltics, but this time we actually see a lot on our surroundings. Let's see if they will find the right information they need to get a better region guess down, which shouldn't matter too much in a country like Latvia, which isn't too big and is also in a shape where you can't really make a lot of mistakes.
Finbar opting for the very far east send pays off. I wonder what he saw. I mean, he saw some sign and then instantly went all the way over. He was in a very similar spot as Captain initially, but good switch from him there, getting 500 points in something like Latvia. You know what, not the worst.
Yep, definitely not. Especially with the multis ramping up slowly.
And seems like Captain instantly found a good sign in Malaysia. Very good to get the state name and then the city name. And it seems like there's going to be quite a bit of points. And Finbar trying to switch.
Couldn't switch.
He saw Kota Baru on his sign, I think. It literally said Kota Baru in a few kilometers. And that's going to be 2.5k damage. But we saw his ping on the map. He knew he'll be frustrated. But that's just how it is, you know. Captain putting the pressure on with instant guess. And going on to...
only an assumption, but Finbar saw him guessing quick, and with him guessing quick, he assumed that Captain found something. He went back to the original position and moved the other way, which is a skill you need to have as a moving player. As we go over to Turkey round, we have Ulubey, which is south of Uşak.
Yeah, shout out Uşak.
I've been there last year. Ulubey. It's right there on the screen on the right. Very small town. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I didn't, but I trust you in Uşak province.
Yeah.
One of the few provinces I trust you in. To know a few more towns.
We
US
have...
round.
Yes. I don't know why the lines looked a bit wide.
They did.
Because this... should be Oregon then.
Like the rest of it, I
very
didn't really
dry
vibe Oregon
so
though.
Maybe we are far east in Oregon.
And Captain found an Idaho plate there. You have the red on top and the blue on the bottom. I don't think it's Idaho. Like
maybe. Okay, if someone tells me this is Idaho, I would believe it, depending on who's saying it. But I would not send it myself. But it is. So you trust the lines. We have some white lines, which is commonly found in Oregon, but the overall landscape didn't look like the typical. If you think of Origin, you think of big, like mountainous roads with big mountains. Forested road with big mountains is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, that's what I was say.
But yeah, we had a dry landscape there as we move over to this round.
Yeah, it said a town name on that sign by Captain. It said like something C Playas.
I thought of either Guayaquil or all that span to the west of that. And this does look more coastal. It looks
very dry. So Salinas, I kind of like where Finbar is right now. While he takes a big sip and Captain is trying to adjust his guess.
Yeah. Let's span from Guayaquil to the west where Finbar's guess is. You see those electricity counters a lot in that region we had. Those round Mexican looking ones. Back then when I did my Ecuador research. Something I've noticed.
Do you have any research
Not
in Belgium?
too important and not at all.
Pretty.
I don't think I know any region-specific thing in Belgium. Do you?
If it's flat, it's west. Boom! And it is pretty flat in
Well,
this
you
location.
can use language as well
Oh,
to
true.
distinguish between north and south. But
like-
as like actual meta, I don't think I know anything. Of course, you have the red car, but I couldn't tell you like the exact regions. So no, I don't know any Belgian meta, unfortunately.
Do you really need to, though? I feel like the country is quite obvious
is
most of the time.
The real question, yeah, and you don't gain much
Cita de
points
Otranto.
anyway.
Does anyone know where the city of Otranto is? And
It
wow,
is right on the
Captain
coast.
knows the city.
Captain is there. It feels like he heard of it before
Yeah,
because he was like looking in that region and maybe he was like, wait, isn't it here somewhere? And he did spot it pretty quick. Is Finbar committing way further stuff? This could be game actually. It is definitely game.
I mean, it is last
What
round,
am I
and we
saying?
almost
Yeah.
have a 5k by Captain here.
Yeah.
Insane town knowledge. Not a big town there, Otranto. I have personally never heard of it. To me, it looked like the East Coast near Lecce, but still impressive to instantly scan there or even know the town beforehand. And that means Captain goes up 1-0 against Finbar.
Definitely.
Pretty-
A very quick paced game. I didn't even realize we are on run 10 already. I was surprised it was run 10, but we move over to no move. We
And-
have a Senegal round.
A rare Senegal Gen 3. I feel like seeing Senegal Gen 3 is very rare these days. But
Yes,
we still have the rifts. Sometimes you
Yep.
forget that Senegal rifts were such a huge meta, but now that everything is Gen 4, you don't really see them that much. It seems like
Nope.
Finbar knows the road, or at least the
Almost.
region.
That's an impressive guess. Especially guessing Gen 3. Because most of that has been forgotten.
But maybe it's because he's playing the game longer than Captain. It's just, you know, he still knows those Gen 3 roads. On the other hand, you have Captain who maybe joined the game when everything was Gen 4 already. Could also, you know, play a part really. Some things that have been very consistent in the past have been, you know, pretty much removed. Same with Lithuania random blurs. Also something you don't really
that's
see
also
anymore.
something I haven't seen in a long while.
Yeah, I got it
Random
yesterday and I was
blurs
like,
in the camera.
yeah, that was a meta. Right, I've not seen it in a year. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
As we go, I mean, this round just seems like the average Manila suburb, but
Yes, it looks very urban with how tight these buildings are built next to each other.
we have a Colo hover. Is this?
No,
It's a white
this
plate, but
is the Philippines.
there is a
We
yellow
have the
plate there, but it's on a bus.
We have the Philippines marker on the car.
And we see an instant regret
Wow.
by Captain here, and that's going to be a flawless 2-0 game. Big mistake made by
he
Captain
got
there.
gaslit by the yellow plate, probably.
Yeah, the yellow plate on the bus, you definitely get those on buses in the Philippines. So that will be a 1-1 very quick game. Other
And to
than the
be
movie
fair,
game.
the Philippines is actually sharing a lot of infrastructural things that you also see in Latin America.
That is true.
For example, the electricity counters, octagonal poles. Those are both things you see in Mexico, for example. So, can't blame him there.
And wow, what a round one
But
to start off in an NPC here.
Now it's getting interesting. What do we have?
My initial thought was
Trees.
Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, the trees look a bit more coastal, a bit more southern with the soil. It could be Brazil. I didn't think of Brazil off the bat. I was still thinking of other possibilities, but I guess by default, if you see red soil
Sun seems
and
north,
this
maybe.
vegetation, yes, if you combine those three things, it will make things easier, but not easy by any means.
But it feels like both players have locked in. They're both on the same town pretty much in Santa Catarina. Both near Chapeko.
Yeah, probably going for the default southern hedge. Whereas I don't really... Well, I guess, yeah. It could be further north, but I didn't see this being way further south than that.
I feel like the soil being like slightly red and also like grainy is also a thing you kind of see in like Panhandle Arch, so maybe that's why, you know, they're more inclined to go that area. And I quite like Finbar's Insta-guess near the Flinders Ranges, definitely feels like there.
Could see that. I also can't really put it in any other state. With how dry it is. So yeah, I do like that.
Ooh, Captain is thinking about Wa, I think, because he did pan towards Wa for a second there. And it is Wa, although it's coastal Wa, and we have 0 point damage. We have the cling, which also I feel like it's an underrated sound in GeoGuessr. It's kind of satisfying to hear.
It does
sometimes.
sound satisfying. It isn't satisfying as a player, maybe, because that just means you were both wrong. But still a nice sound.
Another Australia, Tasmania, Insta-guess by Captain. Makes sense. I mean...
We have those spiky bushes, which you see a lot in Tasmania. You can also see it in Victoria. That's probably why Finbar is swimming in the ocean. Okay, he did adjust his spin towards the coast. He kind of hedged towards the mainland, probably, to reduce damage in case it is.
You know what a lot of players do? They take a sip after pretty much every guess. Is it like a mental reset thing, or how do you like see that?
I don't know. Maybe they have some coaches who taught them that.
Maybe, but it
be a thing.
But I feel like I've seen Finbar and also Harrier does it a lot. He takes a sip of Coke after pretty much every guess. Just a small sip, you know, be locked in.
Harrier Coke sip is iconic. Let's talk about this round. We have some ladder poles.
My first thought was this is like one of the off-roads west of Punta Arenas, but this could also be somewhere just near Vina del Mar. I don't really know what the landscape is.
No, I think it should be further south, right?
I really like Punta Arenas as a guess.
Yes, I do
feel like there are roads like this there.
Far south in Chile.
And it is, and that will be more than enough, I think, to close out this game. You know, 2 big mistakes in the 2 modes. I'm not the big mistake in this last round because I feel like it was not that easy and straightforward as the Philippines round, but yeah, Captain taking the 2-1 here. And I think he's also not passing Finbar, but I think they're on the same amount of points now. So definitely shows how close these 2 players are in skill. Even though, you know, today maybe it didn't show how consistent they usually are, both of them with a single big mistake, but other than that, I feel like it was pretty consistent. Also, as you said in the moving game, it didn't feel like 10 rounds because we're both on so much health left. And it was already round 10 and they didn't have that much health lost.
Yeah, definitely, I do agree. We had a match where you only had to be right in the right moment. If you didn't take your opportunity on those rounds, this could have been anyone's game, and it was. So we got to NMPC. Captain didn't get his 3 points, which he needed to pass Finbar on the leaderboard, but nonetheless they are both on the same points now.
Yeah, and we have another matchup in the pipeline. I think it is Saju against Pan. We just saw Pan earlier playing against Sp4ghet, you know, making that big mistake in ZA, in the northern ZA, costing him the moving game. And now he's back for some revenge, maybe. Saju against Pan. I feel like
maybe it's possible. We have Saju's stats here: 54% win rate, 49% precision, and 29 seconds guess time, which is pretty quick.
I feel like these numbers are very similar.
Yes, this is the most like. I feel like, did we have any other match where it was this close?
I think there was one matchup earlier. I feel like it was Trichter against Malfunction. No, not that. I think some other game was very close, but as you can see, only the win rate is really low on Pant, even though his precision is better, but maybe Saju just makes quick guesses in very crucial moments, and that's where he gets that one guess that decides the game in. Both only 16 games played. We saw people with 25 games played already, so definitely don't expect them to be this far down on the table as time goes on.
A lot can happen here, and we are
Wow.
in the match. And we see Satya blunking down. I mean, it is Sri Lanka. What are the chances he found some information here?
Yeah, this looks very far north to me in Sri Lanka. Yeah, kind of like the northern guess here.
Probably just a vibe guess there.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't care about those 200 points, but definitely around that solvable, very dry, and also we had some water to the west, so didn't have to lose 200 points, but he was like, okay, whatever.
Nope.
I don't care.
That is fair, and we move on. We are in India. We have some southern language. Don't see any town. Oh, there's a good sign.
Via Nagara.
Well, I need that last section that's covered by his map now to see what state it's saying. But we have them in Tamil Nadu. It's in Bangalore right now. Both are, with their pins so far. If they leave it like this, then it won't matter too much on this round. It was actually in Karnataka.
I mean, Bengaluru is in Karnataka. But
Oh, true.
Karnataka is just a very long state, I would say. It makes like a half moon shape pretty much along the coast, and then it cuts in south and north as well.
In my head, I was still in Tamil Nadu. I forgot they switched to Bengaluru.
Happens.
And we are in the United Kingdom. Looks like we have an area code, maybe?
You know, Harry, I would know it right now, instantly saying Jeff. That is just
Probably.
here.
I feel like a lot of the British players know the area codes.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it's used a lot. Not something most players learn, though. But architecture looks a bit more southern, at least southern half of the UK.
I tend to agree here.
A lot of these brick buildings with the reddish brick.
Yeah, the Victorian era buildings still very abundant in the UK. I feel like a lot of very old houses, like built in the 1880s. Definitely see them a lot.
They are very durable, as it seems. We
like
are
it.
in Japan. We have
the
this
arrow.
yellow arrow, which you see in Chugoku. And we have a Chugoku guess from Satsu there, also from Pan. Now, who will make a better region guess within the region of Chugoku?
Seems like both of them are in a very, very similar spot, so very minimal.
Yes, just right outside Okayama. And
So far,
still
so good.
Pretty equal health. It's only 700 points difference, and we are in around 5 already.
Ooh, this could be bigger points though. Seems like Indonesia here, right off the bat.
Yes, I'm surprised we didn't have any Kabupaten written on that sign there. But that's what they are probably looking for. We have a lot of tiled roofs here. Actually, bunker roofs. Doesn't look like bunker.
Shouldn't be bunker.
But it should be Java then, probably. Up in the mountains of Java. Where you also tend to see some metal roofs as well, the higher up you are.
Ooh, speaking
Because
of
metal
Kabupaten,
is
it says
just-
Bogor. Which is, I think, just outside of...
Bogor.
No, that's Bogossi. Where's Bogor? I don't know. I forgot.
You forgot.
I forgot. Oh, there it is.
It's right outside
South
Jakarta.
I thought it was called
Okay.
like Bogossi or something, but maybe that's a different one. Both of them finding it. Different signs though, funnily enough.
Yeah, right outside. Still in West Java, close to the Banten province.
Yeah, I was hoping for big points in that Indonesia round, but if you give those players up a Kabupaten, there will be not a lot of points exchanged.
Nope, not at all. And we are in Brazil. Looks pretty dry, which makes you think of Bahia with mountains, or maybe a bit further north of that.
Yeah, also we have this long grass. Usually, you know, the Tocantin's long grass. It looks like Tocantin's grass had a rough day because it looks pretty dry.
Indeed, could be. Especially with those palms, I feel like
Palm trees
maybe
also.
we are a bit more western.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it has a mix of different, like, there are a lot of clues, but every clue I see is more of a thing for another state. So maybe if you
It says Minas
combine
Gerais,
those...
it says MG. So we're gonna be in MG, and that is a town name actually.
Even south of Bahia.
Carlos Cargas. Or Carlos Chagas.
Let's see, they are both. Scanning over the map, but of course that's you with that sign in the right region, and that is game. In
One
a
round
country like
knockout.
Brazil, you are not allowed to make any mistakes, not on 3.5x damage.
And we always said Brazil can be very hard. You need those information, those phone codes, those, you know, abbreviations of states. And Sergio, you know, just the lucky one to find the right one. Or maybe it's skill because you moved in the right direction, then turned around to see a big billboard.
Yeah, it can happen, and we move over to this round, which looks like the average Patagonian Argentina round.
Yeah, you get, I feel like this coverage you get on the border between Rio Negro and, is that Chubut? I feel like that's kind of the area I would go.
Chubut is the next one to the south. I mean, I do like the Rio Negro plonk more than Chubut.
I would click the border right off the bat.
But I could see it being both, definitely.
I click the border on those locations.
That's fair. Let's see. It is medal of Rio Negro, and Zachu is almost right on it. Only 43 kilometers is impressive on a location like this.
Yeah, but also seems like he knew the road instantly because he was also scanning even angles on that road. So he was fairly confident. Didn't really check anything else. Didn't even go with his marker into... Oh, there's... Oh, no,
Would you look at that?
Not the posted note.
Tell us, Ziggy. We
Okay,
have
listen.
the yellow posted sign.
There's a sign on that tree that says posted. This looks nothing like Pennsylvania, but apparently somebody has told me that if you see a posted sticker on a tree in the US, it's Pennsylvania. Even though I wouldn't really go with that guess.
I will bet against it on this location.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna tell you that much. What?
Okay.
North
Okay.
Dakota.
Yeah, that's a bit of a wild one. I feel like we had red soil or reddish soil.
Nothing looked like North Dakota there to me.
Well, you know, maybe Pennsylvania wasn't the worst guess latitude-wise.
True. That was actually a wild one. Like the vegetation, the terrain, the soil, nothing really made me think of the Dakotas at all. But neither did the players think of it, so nothing to blame there. We are in Oman. It looks pretty deserty.
It looks south, definitely.
Yes, we don't have those big mountain ranges you see in the north.
Pretty far south commit by
Kind of
Sergio.
used the alignment of them, but yeah. Well, Pan had a coastal vibe there. He is on the coast. Getting closer that way.
And so far, so good for Pan. Definitely needs to win this game to come back into this matchup. And Sergio, even if he loses this game, he still has a chance to win, or a pretty good chance to win.
And we are on this round, which looks like Borneo. And I think we have Sarawak poles, and with these mountains we should be somewhere outside Kuching. But it was in...
It's Lavas. It is still Sarawak,
Is that
technically.
still- it's
It
still
is still Sarawak,
Sarawak.
yes.
Okay.
It's the Lavas region. It's like the
You
only
also
other
have
region.
mountains
Yeah,
there,
that's
but it's such a small region with those big mountains.
maybe a region consider that people should just learn every road, maybe just because it's the only region in Sarawak that really
Maybe.
looks like that, and it's so far away from the other one that looks like it.
I guess learning every road will help you getting better at this game.
True.
We have a Bulgaria, I guess.
Yeah.
This makes sense. I thought it's Croatia when it spawned because of the hook pole, but
Yeah, tiled roofs. I feel like that's
Yep.
more of a thing.
Yeah,
in
yeah, the building
Bulgaria.
looked very Bulgarian. So the landscape overall then. And it looks like we are in Alberta or Sask.
Wait, do we have... It looks like we have US car blur. Didn't really expect that.
Oh,
Definitely felt like Canada
do we?
right